All right, what's up, Magnum Supreme gang? We're out here at the cabin in the woods, so that means you know you're getting a good episode. Today I've got with me a professional guest star. This is Luke from Instagram at somerando69. Give him a follow. You probably already know him if you're around this part of the world. Today we're here to talk about AK104s. All right, we've been getting a lot of 104 videos on the channel because I got a 104 now, so I'm gonna flex my shit. My friend Luke here also happens to have a fucking excellent 104, but this is actually what we call a 104. Okay, he has the Draco, as you all are very familiar from rap culture and other things. The Draco does not have the greatest of reputation, but I can assure you with great confidence, Luke's Draco is nothing like what you imagine in your mind when you think of a Draco. So if you want to go ahead and get into yours, just give us like the whole rundown of how it got to where it is now. And you can take it up closer to the camera as well to kind of show them off what you got here.
Yeah, let's pull the chair up here, and you know, you passed me my ears, so I don't, firstly you didn't stand on them and I almost dropped a chair on them, but
they'll be all right.
Yeah, let's see. So we've got your basic, you know, Draco, nothing fancy going on here. It started life as a Battlehawk Armory, is that it?
Yes,
yeah.
Battlehawk Armory.
I'm not going to drag Sure Shot drama into this, but Sure Shot and myself don't love each other.
Don't worry, I'll drag Sure Shot into it. He got a fucking chassis from him and it didn't fit, and they fucking told him he was the problem, even though they made the shit incorrectly.
Fair enough. So I ordered a Sure Shot chassis. I had a Wasser 10, and I saw they had the Draco option. My fiance wanted to get me something for my birthday, so I said, you know what, screw it, let's go for a Draco. Regular Guy Training has had a Draco. It's got 30-something thousand rounds. I want to say like 35,000 rounds.
Shout out Regular Guy Training.
Excellent dude, great class. Had a great time with it. So I bought a Draco. Waited for the chassis. Chassis didn't work out well for me. So I was looking into the modifications, like to get a handguard, all that stuff. You can get certain Zenitco configurations that will fit, this, that, the other thing. I settled on the SLR and the TWS rail dust cover. They worked great. I have zero complaints about SLR, except SLR has the Ultimax syndrome where it gets hot.
So I hate to punch in here, but does Zenitco not fit Draco? Is it not a standard AKM pattern?
It fits, but the issue you run into is if you have the B30, I want to say it's B30 and 31, you have to have the specific shorter length upper
because the gas tube's a little shorter?
11.5 barrel, so it's not a standard barrel.
Okay.
So I got that set up. I said, screw it, I want a can. And this is way back in 2022, which is kind of weird to say way back.
This AK has been in the making for a long fucking time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So I bought the Dead Air Wolverine, and obviously it was going to go on this here, Bad Larry, and I put it on there, and I had the rear trunnion. They advertise that can as being low back pressure. It is not low back pressure. So the rear trunnion on these with the Dracos or the 104s, the rivet holes, instead of being at an angle like they would be on your traditional AKM or on our classic AK104 here, where you've got a triangle pattern and you're holding the trunnion in better, you just have these two rivets right here. Well, it sheared out a rivet and lost the rear trunnion, so it went to, I believe it was CW Gunworks. I put in the SBR, and I got it back with a side rail. These don't come factory, and a AKM rear trunnion. This is just a 74 poly stock that's been Cerakoted. And I shot it like that for quite a while. Well, I'm an idiot and I'm a glutton for punishment, so I ordered a Sure Shot Mark 2.1 because the issue I had was the dust cover on the 3.0 not fitting, and I'm like, it's not going to be a problem. Long story short, failed to eject repeatedly. I would have to mill out a channel up through here, like where there's the gap under the optic that lets the casings fly through. It was throwing casings back in. It was basically a bolt action. Every third round was a malfunction. I didn't want to mill out a chassis. I said, all right, fuck it. And I shipped it out to Spirit of Kalash to rebarrel, because I had cut the handguard retainer off to get the sure shot on, and the classic Draco problem of not having concentric threads appeared. The Wolverine's a cool looking can. It doesn't sound great. It's heavy as fuck. So I wanted to put on my polonium and rebarreled it. It's at 13 inches with a 3mm gas port, JMac, FSB, AKM gas tube, the KPYK's mid-length handguard, Streamlight ProTac 2, UH1, primary arms, big 3-power magnifier. It's a very, very simple rifle setup. It does everything. A couple little creature comforts that are like major for me was I put a FB Radom mag release in on the gun, ALG trigger, and the TWS hobnob. Overall, very boring setup as far as just reliable. A couple little tweaks, like for example, the Arms of America little red recoil buffer in there helps to cut out the gas to the face with the traditional baffle stack can. Some people say it doesn't, some people say it does. I think it does because it helps to seal the hole at the back of the receiver. You still dump carbon out of the dust cover, but you know, what are you gonna do?
And I can speak to the gassing on this gun. We've shot a little bit already today. I've got maybe 10 or 20 rounds through that rifle. Now, with having been said, a traditional baffle stack can, I was expecting it to be a lot gassier, because as I later learned, there's no K&S adjustable gas piston in that gun either. It's all factory piston, just has a really nice tight gas port.
Yep.
The gas to the face is non-existent. It's just like my Putnik. We were comparing earlier the Putnik to the Polo K, and in feel, to me, like in the shoulder, they feel almost identical on the systems, but what really makes the difference is the sound. I was thinking about it, and we're not gonna do anything on camera with the sound because the iPhone, the camera audio, and the compression that YouTube puts on all its videos, it's really not going to do justice to the sound differences you're gonna hear. Because what we can hear up here is just, I mean, minuscule differences of how far the sound would project or something like that. For instance, the Polo K, it's much more punchier and the sound is over quicker, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
With the Putnik, it kind of persists longer. Like you can hear it echo off the mountains and shit a little bit longer. Just minute differences and something you really wouldn't pick up on an iPhone camera. So we're not gonna delve into that too much.
It's really little semantic things there that, you know, are like the major differences between the flow and the traditional. With the tuning on this, you know, it's a Polo 30, it's nothing special. It's whatever the basic baffle stack is. It does a very good job at hiding the flash though, which was the biggest thing for me when I was looking at a can for this. I run either an Aero Lahar 30, just for a short lightweight can on here, or I run the Polo 30. Those are the two like AK cans that I use. Aero's probably not happy that the Lahar is being used as an AK can, but you know, well.
Aero's not happy. They've got a lot of other issues going on. They're probably not too worried.
You know, that's kind of sad on a minor side tangent.
Yeah, small side note, you know, rest in peace, Aero. They might come back though, who knows? They could make it. Small side note aside, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, ladies and gentlemen. This has been, I don't know what I'm gonna title this, something like the fucking tropes of owning a Draco or something like that, I don't know. But this is like a real horror story of AKs, you know. I get lucky buying factory guns, and when all my stuff has worked, I've yet to have to use a gunsmith, but some cases are not the same, you know.
I mean, to be fair though, the issues that I ran into, a lot of them were brought on by me because I didn't know better. Like, I just threw the can on, didn't think about the tuning because it said low back pressure.
And that's another thing you people at home need to realize, you know, if you're not an avid watcher of Magnum Supreme, absorbing all the knowledge that I throw out there, you know, you're not going to really know to use a K&S piston or a low back pressure can or a stronger spring, whatever, like some way to mitigate the gas on a suppressor.
The biggest thing that I've ran into with that after I got it back together is like I threw an ALG high energy recoil spring in there, and that was just the little bit that was required to tame it. A simple way to check if your AK is overgassed is put a little grease on the back trunnion, and if you're leaving hammered in imprints of the bolt carrier group, that's probably not a good sign, and you should consider adding either a heavier recoil spring, cutting the gas back with the K&S, or putting a recoil buffer in there. And you know, the recoil buffers are cheap insurance. They're like, what, 12 bucks on Arms of America?
I don't even know. I've never had to run one, fortunately.
They're nifty. That's about all I got for them.
Well, hell yeah, brother. I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. I'm sure the fucking viewers at home are very appreciative. Everyone getting the comments, and thank you, Luke, for his time coming up here on the show. I had to drag him up here to the cabin in the woods, and I assure you it was not an easy fucking time. It is hot out here. It's July. It's sunny, and it ain't as windy as we would like it to be.
No, there's a nice breeze, but that nice breeze doesn't do anything.
It only started feeling good after we sat down. With all that having been said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. This has been Luke and Magnum Supreme, and we're out of here. All right, that's it, brother.